Greetings in the precious name of the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm Bishop Joe Fears, and I'm continuing my study on the book of Revelation as we look at it from a macro versus a micro view, meaning I'm not going to go into the details of studying the book. I just want to give you a big picture synopsis of the book. And I told you as we were going into chapter 7, I want to drop back for a moment just to further explain. And so some people didn't quite understand what I was saying about the com plan or the game plan and the action plans. I was trying to explain that the seals are not the action plan. They are just the game plan. Now, another way to look at it is like the seals are, say for instance, your parents are very wealthy, and there's 3 of you guys. And they have a will that they have sealed, and they have 3 seal letters. For instance, they have 3 seal letters, and each one of those letters have something specific to the 3 children, what they want them to get, or what's going to transpire. There are not going to be any actions. Nothing is going to happen yet until that person dies. And even when that person dies, there's not going to be any actions until the seals are broken. Now, just because the seals are broken doesn't mean that the action starts immediately. The seals being broken lets you know what's coming to you and your siblings. That is all. So knowing that is kind of the same way. In fact, it is the same way with the seals. The seals reveals what's going to happen. It's the plan. This is the plan that your parents had for you. This is the plan that they have had for you to give you so many millions, to give you the house, or to give you whatever. That was the plan. And that plan, when it goes into action, that's when certain other things got to be done. You got to release certain other things. Now there's some legal things got to happen. There's some papers has to be signed. When we get to the trumpets is another level of something that has to be released by the Messiah. Jesus is the one that breaks the seal. Jesus is the one that releases the trumpets. These judgments that are coming, the Lord is the one that is initiating these things. I wanted to make sure that everybody understood this, and I hope this brings better clarity to those of you that may misunderstood what I was trying to say in my previous sessions. But at any rate, that's kind of how it is when it comes to the seals. So now when we get to chapter 7, we see that the book is in a chronological order all the way up to chapter 6, and all of a sudden it breaks its chronology, because now it's like the movie that starts with the ending plan, and all of a sudden it begins to backtrack and show you stuff that happened 20 years earlier, and then it begins to play things to you. And that's what's going on with the rest of this stuff. After, when we get in chapter 7, now the rest of the chapters of Revelation are not all what theologians call parentheticals or parentheses or pauses to give more information, but they are there to let you know that there are going to be certain pauses in certain chapters that are going to give exclamations, that are going to give MIC, a micro look at what's going on in the book of Revelation instead of the macro. The macro is what you see written, but then up into chapter 6, it's just giving you a macro picture. But then you see a couple of chapters are parentheticals, and they give you a micro look at what's going on. So to explain to John in details. Chapter 7 is one of those chapters, as I said last week. So it is a parenthetical parenthesis or a pause in the story to give you some backdrop. So what God does here is says, I've given this man a lot. I've given my son a lot of information, and he probably is just blown away at what he's seeing. So let me show him some things. And a lot of things, as I said, John was seeing things, and he was interpreting things with the best of his knowledge. I'm sure he saw planes. I'm sure he saw some chemical and nuclear blasts. I'm pretty sure He saw these things, but he didn't know what to call it, and he did his best at conveying it to us. Chapter 7, when it talks about the 144,000 Jews, 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes being sealed, that tells me a lot, because it lets me know that God is really good and that God is not doing stuff arbitrarily. Even in the midst of him judging, he's still working in a certain order. He stops and he shows John the big picture, the macro, all the way to chapter 6. Then he stops and says, let me show you something. Now, at the very beginning, before the plagues start hitting, before the plagues come, before the rider of the white horse is released to go free and to do whatever he's going to do, I'm going to seal 144,000. It tells us in the book of Revelation, don't do any harm to those that are sealed. Don't hurt them. Don't do any harm. So they're going to be protected. Now, the unique thing why I'm a pre-tribulationist is because they're the only ones that are going to be protected. It tells us that clear, that these are the only people that are going to be protected during this time, the ones that have the seals in their forehead. They're going to be protected from all the plagues. But these are the only ones. It clearly says that. These are the only ones. So that tells me that the church is gone. That tells me the church has left the planet. That first united flight is gone. The rapture has taken place. And that's prior to the seals being broken as well. Because these, at the beginning, they are sealed. It's clear that at the beginning, these 144,000 Jewish males are sealed. Whether they be symbolic or whatever, they are sealed. Whoever they are sealed at the beginning. In fact, before they're going to be sealed, before any of the plagues can hit the planet, these people are sealed. I got to stop right now. I'm going to continue on, and hopefully in session 5, I can finish this teaching. That is all.